Dinosaur Adventure Land in Lenox, Alabama, August 24th, 2023. Tonight, comments on comments and questions and answers. We're the folks who believe the Bible is true. God made everything in 6 days. Dinosaurs, everything. What he said. He wrote it on a rock with his finger, 10 Commandments. Read it for yourself. Exodus 20, Exodus 31. Anyway, we're on Rumble and on Genesis Baptist Church on YouTube and Odyssey and a bunch of other places. You can get them all on drdino.com or go to our website, drdino.com. Okay? Let's see. The fool said in his heart, there's no God. How can you not see a creator when you look at anything through a telescope or a microscope? I mean, it's shouting at you, there's a God. Okay, tonight, comments on comments, August 24th. Let's see. Whackin' Atheist, Richard Gashmu Dawkins, carbon dating doesn't work. Got some comments on that from last night. Great to see Kent putting the scientific smackdown on atheist and evolution is so hard, their common ancestors are feeling it. Did I hit him that hard? Your grandpa felt it. More pseudoscience from Kent and crew. I love how they give these answers that have no meat on the bones at all. Give me a specific example. What pseudoscience? Come on, pick one. Show me specifically. They never do that. It's always a generic answer. Okay, let's see. All facts. You wouldn't know science if it punched you in the face, Rainey. Okay. Keep up the great work. What a blessing, brother. Thanks for all the hard work. Shalom means perfect peace in Hebrew. Okay. Just messaged my local Christian radio station to see if they would have you on. Let me know. Family Radio Network in Wisconsin. Yeah, I'd like to do 2 or 3 programs every day. I get on every program I can. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I just want to defend the Bible as being true. Take out all the atheists in the world, okay? Amen, Mr. Hovind. Thank you for your study. Praise the Lord. I'm glad you brought me to your YouTube channel. The Lord brought me to your YouTube channel. I used to watch you years ago, fallen away from the Lord and came back into the fold. Thanks to God for his long suffering and mercy. Amen. What radio station? I would love to listen. I'm not on any regular ones, but if you want to call, get me on, I'll come on, okay? This channel is deleting comments. Pretty shameful. Well, Jimmy Dean, start your own channel. Then you can run it how you want. I don't know. I'm not deleting any Jimmy Dean comments, but if somebody's deleting some, maybe it's because you're saying something that is stupid. Maybe it's vulgar. I don't know why. Anyway, start your own channel. It's a shame for people to have control over their own YouTube channel. Would you have control over yours, Jimmy? Let's see. It's a shame when people are discussing biblical things on a biblical-based channel. Sure, you can do it, but it's shameful. Okay, well then, Jimmy, when you start your channel, don't do it if it's shameful. Okay, let's see. I read the 10 Commandments. Most of them are utterly ridiculous. Could be improved upon by any reasonable person. The best use of the 10 Commandments is in showing us that religion and God are man-made inventions. From MAP 8667. What? Someone with MAP in their name thinks that most of the 10 Commandments are utterly ridiculous. Just making sure everyone's on the same page here. You old town crier. Okay. Well, okay, you believe whatever you want. MAP. All right. Let's see. Debate night with Jackson Rowe. Comments. In just about 5 minutes in, Jackson asks Kent a question, completely ignores, starts to go on a tangent, then plays a video Jackson was explicitly asking about without even addressing the question. How does hydrologic sorting explain why clams with their specific densities are always in the specific layer? Rosanna, whoever you are, why don't you just call and schedule a full debate just with you, okay? I will glad to or call in right now. Can they call in right now and get on the show? Email right now. I'll send a link to join. Sure, you can join. Email Dr. Dino at drdino.com, and he'll put you on the channel now. Okay, let's see. Clams are always in the specific layer. Let's see. Jackson explicitly showed the layer of mollusks. Whether you think the layers formed at the same time or different times, it's still called the Eocene layer. I don't care what somebody calls it. All the layers are the same age. There's no such thing as the Eocene layer. Did you watch the debate? Okay. What it's called doesn't change how it was formed, okay? Exactly, and hence Jackson's question. If it was formed by hydrologic sorting, as Kent claims, why was a thick layer of mollusks formed above less dense material? Well, Rosina, let me explain to you, okay? We live in a gravel pit right here in Lenox, Alabama. There are 7 layers of gravel, 7 of them. They go from Alabama to North Carolina, 500 miles. And it's gravel, sand, clay, gravel, sand, clay, gravel, sand, clay. It keeps repeating because every tidal change, see, when the tide comes up, when the moon pulls the tide up, the water's rushing in. So that's going to make a layer. And then it's calm for a couple hours, all fine stuff settles out, and then the tide goes the other way because the water's rushing out. And you should have watched the video or watched my seminar part 6, or here you go, get my globe here. There is a phenomenon called tidal pumping. The moon holds that bump of water like a magnet, and we spin around. So the water's constantly rushing into that bump from the east at the same speed the Earth is turning, which varies greatly with latitude from 0 to 137.6 or 138, depending on your altitude. Lenox, Alabama, 866 miles an hour. So then, once the bump gets full, then the Earth passes that point. Now the bump has to empty. So the water rushes out of the tidal bump. The moon sees the tidal bump, that's all it sees. But on Earth, we see high tide, low tide, high tide, low tide. So the tidal pumping is what caused these layers. And of course, you're going to get rock, sand, gravel, sand, clay, gravel, sand, clay. This is because each one represents a different tide. And you get calm water for a couple hours during high or low tide. You need to watch video number 6 or come visit Dinosaur Adventure Land, but you're simply mistaken, okay? That's why you get a layer of clams on top of a lighter layer. That we get layers of gravel on top of sand and then layers of clay on top of that. It alternates gravel, sand, clay, gravel, sand, clay. You guys have all seen it. You live here. Come out and see it. It happened because of Noah's flood. Okay, let's see. Burnt toast, nth. The excuse young Earth creationists generally give is that there are rare instances in flowing water when you can get multiple layers forming simultaneously. Burnt toast, it's not rare instances. It happens all the time. Watch the video, Experiments in Stratification. You can watch it happen. It happens constantly. During the tidal change of Noah's flood, the layers had formed sideways. Noah was in that ark for 880 tidal changes. 880 times the water's either coming up or going down, rushing in, rushing out. Noah wouldn't feel it going up and down, but the in and out would form all the layers and would round off all the rocks. That's why they call it river rock. No, this gravel is rounded because of Noah's flood. It goes from here to North Carolina. This is a big river, okay? Let's see. Of course, they then try to apply that globally during the flood, but there's always the problem with everything. It's not a problem with our model at all. You guys believe the whole Earth and all the tides and all the water and all the clams are in a dot, don't you? Is that what they teach? A dot smaller than a period, and not just the Earth, all the stars, everything. I can't think of anything dumber than that. Is there anything dumber than believing everything came from a dot? I haven't thought of any. Okay, let's see. Were those mollusks open or closed position? Well, clams, when they die, they open. And so we have hundreds of petrified closed clams. They find these all over the world. Billions of them. Petrified, they were buried alive. Okay, let's see. I predict they're closed, which is evidence of a rapid burial. I agree, the meek. This can only be a global flood. Also, layers with different densities can form on top of less dense material due to different times of the day for tidal influences. Bingo, you got it. Rosina, not sure where the they must be closed thing comes from. Bivalves can and do die in any position, as they are aerobic filter feeders. Whether they're closed or not really only matters when you're eating them, as it can indicate a bivalve is still alive, and eating dead bivalves, ones that don't respond, is more dangerous. Well, the clam, Rosina, listen, let me explain it to you. Bi means two, okay? Like a bicycle, okay? It has two shells. They are pulled together by a muscle inside that people like to eat, some people, okay? When it dies, that muscle relaxes and the clam opens. Walk along the beach. How often do you find a closed clam that is dead? I think never. Certainly, I've never heard of it. Usually they die, open up, and something eats them, and you find individual shells. You hardly ever find a matched pair. You know, brother, okay. But it wouldn't matter. The point is, the fact that there are probably trillions, certainly billions of closed clams all over the world indicates a rapid burial. Okay. Burnt toast, no problem. Okay. I said, number one, they are not always in a certain layer. Okay, number 2, clams usually hang out with other clams, so it's logical they would be buried together in Noah's flood. You don't normally find clams hanging out with buffalo, so you probably aren't going to find them buried together either. Has anybody ever seen a clam hang out with a buffalo? I know. Okay. Their body density is similar to each other and not similar to birds. So Noah's read more. Oh, no, let's see. Jackson's example, I should have hit the read more. It was a busy day today, okay? I'm trying to do my best. Jackson's example is a specific layer. He even showed the specific layer. That specific layer was above less dense material. I agree. We've got it right here. We have rock, gravel on top of clay and silt and sand. It varies over and over. The density of the material is only for that particular moment while it's laying down. You can get a more dense material on top of that. You can get some really dense people to become professors at universities. Yeah, okay. Let's see. From Megan. I want to give my sincerest gratitude for all the information you shared. It's been a great blessing to learn from you. I want to reach out to you because my 11-year-old son and I were having a conversation about volcanoes, craters, geysers, meteors, and dinosaurs. I let him know the flood could have taken some of the dinosaurs, but ultimately man killed them off. Well, I think the flood killed off all but 2 of each kind, and then after the flood, some of the ones that were coming off the ark either couldn't survive long enough in the new environment to even reach maturity to produce. Because, I'll get my chart again, brother. Before the flood, the people lived to be 900. After the flood, it drops off to 400, 600, or 600, 400, 200, 100. This is the age when dinosaurs were dying off just from climate change, and people were hunting them, calling them dragons. So, yeah, I think most of the dinosaurs probably went extinct in the first few hundred years after the flood. But some may still be around. You need to watch my video number 3 about dinosaurs for that. Okay. Let's see. He asked if the meteor didn't kill them. The meteor is not a for sure scientific thing at all. I mean, meteors hit the Earth all the time, but we don't know it had anything to do with killing the dinosaurs. That's just a theory, okay? But they push that in public school like that's the answer to everything. Let's see. How would I explain the marine dinosaur extinct? This would be a simple answer. I just told him it's a good question. I'll look into that. Marine, like Loch Ness Monster, Lake Champlain Monster, they may not be extinct. Watch video number 3 of my creation seminar series about dinosaurs that might still be living, okay? Been a whole lot of sightings like that. All right, let's see. Creepy blind man did a whole channel, another program about me. Creepy, why don't you call in for a debate? I'll do it on your channel or my channel or a neutral channel, Standing for Truth. Let's have a debate, one topic at a time, no interrupting. Can you do that? Creepy, come on, let's see. Kent Hovind is delusional, creationism versus facts. Well, Creepy, I would like to see what facts you have to support evolution. Have I been asking for that for a long time? I'll tell you what, Creepy, why don't you look at my series I've done, 40, tomorrow night will be 40 animals and how they make babies, and asking for evolutionary explanation. You guys haven't answered any of them. Why don't you start right there, Creepy? Pick the first one, or any one you want, and explain, give me a scientific fact of how this evolved. You claim evolution is facts. Let's hear it. Let's see. In this video, Kent Hovind is delusional. Well, can you be specific? Huh? No, he can't. Creationism versus facts. We dive into the comedic yet misguided world of Kent Hovind. I think I'm doing fine. Excuse me, Kent. I almost said, have you looked in the mirror? But I won't say it. Okay, let's see. Here's some comments off of his channel. Okay. It's amazing that these buffoons don't understand that a dog giving birth to a car would completely disprove evolution. What? I have said over and over, all we've ever seen is dogs produce dogs. Have you ever seen a dog produce a non-dog? I never said dog produce a car. What do you mean? Joel Gunderson. Why don't you call Joel and have a debate? Has anybody, see, that's what I keep saying. Evolution has never been observed. And science is what we can see, study, observe, test, demonstrate. None of it applies to evolution. Evolution is a religion. You believe in it, don't you? That's fine. Have whatever religion you want. But don't call it science, and don't pollute our science textbooks with your dumb religion. Kent Hovind is related to a leech. What's that supposed to mean, Scott? You probably think you're related to a leech, don't you? Come on now, do you believe evolution? I'll add you to my chart. You believe you're related to a leech? Common ancestor going back? Oh, yeah. Let's see. Epsom salt. The funny thing is, dogs are a perfect example of evolution at a micro scale that these people want as an example. No, they're not. Epsom salt, this is an example of variation within the same kind. God said they'd always bring forth after their kind. They're still doing that, aren't they? Let's see. Humans selectively breeding a dog is just an extremely accelerated version of natural selection. I agree. Natural selection, artificial selection, they both select. They don't create anything. And you can only select from what's available in the gene code. I'll tell you what, let's do some artificial selection until we get a dog with feathers. Come on. See, there's none to select from, are there? See, you guys don't get it. You can't get it, I guess. Okay, let's see. Everyone knows you can trace dogs back to wolves, so eventually somewhere along the line of domesticating and selecting, they change to a dog. They're still the same kind of animal. Ask a 4-year-old. Dog, wolf, coyote, banana. Which one's different? Let's see. Moni pants. Who do they pick? They pick their own name. I think we are still waiting for Kent to evolve himself. Probably why he doesn't believe in science. Whoa, Moni pants. I love science. Evolution isn't part of science. Stop including the two, okay? Go moan somewhere else on your body, okay? He doesn't believe in science. That's not true, because it's an evolution thing, and he's not evolved to understanding anything other than what the Bible says. Well, Moni Pants, I think I understand quite a few things. I taught algebra, geometry, trig, physical science, biology, earth science. I understand how to build houses. I've done electrical, plumbing. What do you want to talk about? I understand more than the Bible. I understand how automobiles work. You know what a high-speed muffler bearing is and what it does? Huh? I bet you don't. See? I know a lot of stuff, don't I, Rex? You've been here a long time. Yeah. I bet he's never even seen high-speed muffler bearings, have you? No. Okay. Let's see. Please make a video if he responds. Okay. My key boy. Okay. I'm responding. Creepy. Call your channel, my channel, neutral channel. Debate. One topic at a time. Start with you. Give the best evidence you have for evolution. I will counter equal time. No interrupting, no profanity. Challenge tonight, 24th. Let's see you accept it, creepy blind man. Okay. Fred the Fat. They do pick their own names, don't they? They do. Okay. Fred. Hovind is a grifter. His content is aimed at his fellows who contribute to make them feel secure in the ridiculous belief. Evolution is the ridiculous belief. Okay? That's why he tries to use ridicule. Oh, it's fun. I love ridiculing the people who believe they come from a rock. I really do. I enjoy it. Okay. I got their grandpa. Ready? Where'd he go? Right behind me? Here we go. Oh, yeah. You see, fat man, 20 billion years, or let's see, no, 4.6 billion years ago, the Earth was a hot ball of molten rock, and it cooled down. And it rained on the rocks for millions of years and turned them into soup. And the soup came alive. And that first life form found somebody to marry. That's a good trick. And slowly evolved into everything we see today. That is evolution in a nutshell. So your grandpa was a rock. That is what you believe. Okay. Grifter. It drives Christ he's ridicule, even though it exposes his complete misrepresentation. How did I misrepresent it? That is what it shows, isn't it? We all came from cosmic soup. And everything fit in a dot. How many times have I shown that? Hundreds. The whole universe fit in a dot smaller than a proton. That's stupid. You can't squeeze a cup of water into a dot smaller than a proton. He's not trying to convert because he knows it's not going to work. He's just thinking of his pension plan. I don't have a pension plan at all. I'm going to work till I die. And then my work's going to keep going. See these videos that I put out, guys? Thousands and thousands of them. They're going to go after I'm gone. Can't stop it, can you? Well, too bad. Why don't you get on the right side of science, okay? Evolution is a religion. Okay, David Keller. I have to admit, even though I'm a big fan of astronomy and read a lot on it, I have a hard time with the Big Bang Theory, mainly that it started from a point as small as a pinpoint. I've never run across a good explanation for how it would work. Well, David, that's wonderful. It won't work. It can't work. All the highways in America, all the concrete, all the blacktop was squeezed into a dot. All the mountains in the whole Rocky Mountain system, yeah, all the lakes, all the rivers, all the oceans, all in a dot. First of all, who told you that? And why were you dumb enough to believe it? Man, okay. Blizzard winters. As I understand it, it's because the singularity was an energy point, not a material point. Well, then where did the material come from? Do you agree there is material in the world? Let's see. Is this made of matter? Are you made of matter? Are you sitting on a chair made of matter or standing on a floor made of matter? Okay. Oversimplifying somewhat, oversimplifying a lot, matter is solidified energy. And what evidence do you have for that? Matter is solidified energy. Energy itself, though, has no mass and can therefore be condensed to infinite degrees. Who told you that? So that dot that exploded, rapidly expanded faster than the speed of light, contained all the matter and all the energy. How much total energy of all the stars burning for the last 12 days? It's always in that dot. That's one hot dot. Whew, that thing was hot, man. Okay, let's see. I give 1,000 American dollars to Mr. Kent if he proves to me that clay does not come from stones, minerals specifically. I agree. Rocks break down into particles. Sand, if it gets finer, they call it clay. Okay, I agree. Clay comes from rock, minerals. No question out of that. With proof and concrete facts. And you, creepy blind man, can find a way that I don't run away from my saying. And that's because in the Bible, Adam was created from clay, and in turn, clay comes from stones. I agree. And if Mr. Kent likes to spit, and I had to block out the word Christian, Christian. Okay. The word I blocked out amazes me that you guys use this so frequently. We have a cow pasture up north, okay? We try to not even step in it, and you guys put it in your mouth. Hello? I wouldn't want it in my hand. Why do you put it in your mouth? Joe, is there any way to explain it to him? Does that make you think you're smart because you put cow manure in your mouth? And wow, look at that. I can put cow manure in my mouth. Oh, brother, okay. Anyway, likes to spit blank and mirror himself to others. I'll put my money where my mouth is. Does he have the courage to do the same? Why do you want to put money in your mouth? Do whatever you want with your money. Okay. Yeah, I know what else you put in your mouth, so okay, why not money? All right, let's see. Let me explain it to you. God can take clay and make a man. But you guys believe the clay made the man with no designer. That's the difference. I believe General Motors can buy iron that somebody took out of the ground, iron ore, melted it down, made iron, smash it into sheets or roll it into sheets or roll it into a framework and weld it together and make a car. I believe cars are made of iron and other materials, mostly iron. I believe that. Does that mean the iron can make the car by itself? Or does it take an intelligent designer to do that with the iron? This is what you guys don't get. Yes, God can take the clay and make a man. But you think the clay made the man without God, don't you? How can you not get it? Let's see. National what? Inmate Hovind's algorithm is showing. Let's not look any deeper. I suspect it would be traumatizing. Okay, that's all the questions I had. Brother, did you get any in the comment section there? Yes, sir. Creepy, going to call in? No, I haven't heard from him yet. Okay. He's over in one of them countries where they worship the Queen or something. They might invented the microwave. Give sure like a parade like that. Let's see. John writes in. Can you speak on how to deal with Seventh-day Adventists? We have a neighbor who has harassed my mother and who has been saved for 30 years. She's now in danger of hellfire. Okay, I cover the Sabbath very carefully on video number 7 of my series, $50 for the whole thing, 18 hours. Watch seminar part 7. Or, when was that, Joe? A couple question answer, was it last Thursday? No, one of the programs in the last week, I talked about the Sabbath. Yeah. The Sabbath was for the Jews. See, at Google, let me do it real quick. I don't know if I can get it up in PowerPoint in time. Watch this. Let me see if I can get this. See how quick I am with my, oh, you should know I don't want to start another program of Bible running. Just get a Bible program and type in the word work, okay? To see all the times it occurs in the Bible. It's a bunch of times. Now, the children of Israel had been slaves in Egypt for a long time. They'd been in there 400 years and been slaves for 250 years, all right? Moses led them out. Here you go. Work appears in the Bible. Oh boy, how many? Let's see. It's searching. 420 matches for the word work. So I'm going to cut and paste a couple of here they are, right in order. Oh. Let me try that again. I work a little quicker when I'm not under intense pressure. Okay. The children of Israel were slaves, okay, in Egypt. They'd been made to work nonstop, probably 12-hour days, 7 days a week for a long time. Comments on comment, 250 years. Here it is. Make a new slide, paste. Pharaoh told them in Exodus chapter 5, they were complaining about getting off, and Pharaoh said, oh, you don't want, about the straw. You can go read that for yourself. Slide number 26, Alt-DV, 26, enter. It's Exodus 5. Go ye, get you straw where you can find it, yet not aught of your work shall be diminished. Go therefore now and work, for there shall no straw be given you. The very next mention of the word work is in Exodus 12. Where God's telling them about the 10 Commandments. In the first day, there shall be a holy convocation. In the 7th day, there shall be a holy convocation. No manner of work shall be done. Guys, after 250 years of slavery, you're required to take a day off. Whew, that sounded good to those guys. Real good. And I put together a presentation on all about the Sabbath. The Sabbath is for the Jews. I'm Norwegian. And actually, I'm American. Never been to Norway. But ancestors came from Norway. Okay. So, the Sabbath is for the Jews. I've never met anybody that keeps the Sabbath. Ask your mother. What was the question again, brother? Can you call it back up? Do you have it? There, okay. Seventh-day Adventist. The neighbor has harassed my mother. Ask this neighbor, do you keep the Sabbath? He will say, yes. Then say, read the laws about the Sabbath. You cannot go out of your house. Read the laws back in Exodus and Leviticus and Numbers. Do you go out of your house? You can't kindle a fire on the Sabbath. Do you start your car or any piston engine? You can't work, and you can't make anybody else work. That's the law. Do you have utilities going on the Sabbath? You turn the water on? Use electricity? You're making somebody work downtown. I covered it whenever it was, within the last week. Watch my program. It's right at the beginning of one of my seminars in the last week on this channel, okay? So I'm sorry. They are hypocrites. Everyone I've ever met is a hypocrite. They think they're holy, and you're not. They want you to get you back under the law like they're back under the law. The New Testament church met on the first day of the week. It has nothing to do with the Sabbath. The Sabbath was a day of rest. The first day of the week is a day of worship for the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Okay, thank you. Genesis Baptist Church, let's see. The angels don't know when the end comes. Lucifer not knowing when the end comes. Could it be keep someone to step into the role of Antichrist like Napoleon, Hitler? Could be. He probably always has somebody in the wings ready to jump in and take the job if it comes available. I think we're at the end right now. Get my video series on what on earth is about to happen and my charts and stuff I put up on there. Whoa, what on earth is, we're headed for disaster, folks. And the Bible clearly spells it all out ahead of time. Okay, thank you for the question. Let's see. Can you inform Kent that the Big Bang Theory has been disproven? James Webb Telescope. I'm aware of that. It never was proven. Didn't have to be disproven. It had never been proven. Big Bang Theory was not even a good theory. It's a hypothesis. It's a guess. It's a joke, I think. Super chat, thank you. Greetings, Brother Hovind. What caused the craters on the moon? Hovind theory. Couldn't prove it to anybody. Okay, put my globe back up here. The Bible says the fountains of the deep broke open at the beginning of the flood. I cover on video number 2 the details on this. But when God made the earth, there was a layer of ice above the atmosphere, I think, about 10 miles up, a couple-inch thick layer of ice surrounding the whole world like a greenhouse. Most of the water that's now in the oceans was inside the crust of the earth. When the fountains of the deep broke open, that water went shooting out. 10 miles of rock on top of water puts like 60 tons per square inch on the water down there, and it would shoot up supersonically and carry rocks with it along the edge of the crack and launch them to the moon. I believe many of them reached escape velocity, okay, with that much pressure. The near side of the moon has a different crater pattern than the far side. The ones that hit it directly like a shotgun would tend to make bigger craters, and the ones that it went past and moon's gravity pulled them back would make smaller craters. Anyway, I covered that on video number 7, the Hovind theory about what caused the craters on the moon. The Earth is still broken up today, cracks all over the place, fault lines, San Andreas Fault, Hayward Fault, New Madrid Fault, and some of them are still moving. Oh, I forgot to tell the story. I got to tell it. Last Sunday, a guy called me about 3 in the afternoon. He said, Brother Hovind, I just watched one of your videos about dinosaurs, and I need to come to the Lord. So I'm talking to him on the phone. He said, I'm in California. I'm sitting in a church parking lot, hoping to meet the pastor. But it's, 2 in the afternoon, whatever time it was out there, 1 in the afternoon. I forget exactly. Would have been 2 hours different from here. But he said, could you tell me how to get saved? So I'm going through the Bible. He had a Bible in his car. So I told him, open up to this book and read this verse, open up to this book and read this verse. I said, open up to Acts chapter 16 and read what happened to the jailer. The jailer there in Acts 16, Paul and Silas were in jail, and they had an earthquake. And just then, while I'm on the phone with the guy, there was an earthquake in California. He said, my whole car is shaking. Okay, calm down. Anyway, he ended up praying, giving his heart to the Lord, and got saved. I introduced him to a pastor in that area that knew me, and so he's going to church out there again. But I thought that was cool with the earthquake coinciding with the earthquake. Okay, how did we get off on all that? Never mind. Crybaby, thank you for joining us, Crybaby. We were worried about you. You haven't come around like since last time. Kent, say there was a volcanic flow 2,000 years ago. 1,000 years later, it's covered by a sand dune, which is then covered by another volcano 500 years. How old is each layer? Well, if there's historical witnesses, if people are watching it get laid down, that's the eyewitness is the best way to determine the age of any layer. Somebody saw it. People saw Vesuvius erupt and wrote it down. And there's a layer of ash and lava over there. Now, I mentioned the other night about carbon dating, how all the layers give such wildly different ages. Crybaby, why don't you answer some of those? Somebody said all those references are 50 years old. No, I use up to modern day. They still get totally wrong answers with all the dating methods. All the dating methods, potassium argon, rubidium strontium, lead-208, lead-206, carbon-14, carbon-13, they all are based on very obvious assumptions. You don't know the initial content. You can't know that. You don't know the decay rate's always been the same. We know it changes. And you don't know there's been no contamination. In a court of law, every single radioactive date will be thrown out for those 3 reasons. Cannot be proof. Get another. All of that, though, is to try to rescue time so you can have millions of years. Anyway, they keep coming. Feminists love Fauci.
They still pick their own names.
Okay. What does understanding dark sentences mean in Daniel? Difficult to understand sentences like that one right there. There are 33,131 verses in the Bible, I believe, and some of them are a little tough to understand. I'm still scratching my head over some of them myself. That's because only God could write a book like that. Okay. Dr. Dan, do you have any comment? Do you recommend any dinosaur books for kids? I have 5 and 3-year-old. I want to teach them biblical truth. I have written many books for kids on our website, drdino.com. Let's see. Do I have them here? Well, Danny the Dinosaur, book 1, 2, and 3. There's a lot of good books available for kids on dinosaurs. I have, of course, the best ones, but you can go to icr.org or answersingenesis.org. They have great stuff. The problem with Answers in Genesis, they don't use the King James. I think that's a serious problem. You'll see why in some of the verses that I show on my seminar, part 7, the changes that were made. But hey, It's not that they're bad. It's just they're using the wrong Bible version. I would try to encourage them to get a real Bible. Okay, let's see. Any more? Last one. Have you read any of Karl Popper, Thomas Kuhn, or you have to be specific. Karl Popper, boy, I read so many books. I probably read 8,000. I don't know. While I was in prison, I read a lot. I'm a readaholic, so I'd read a book every 2 days. I don't remember the second name, Thomas Kuhn. Give me the names of the titles, and I'll see if I've read that book or not. Okay? That's it. Thank you so much. Time for you to get out of here. Tomorrow night, making babies. I've been up half the night last night working on this one. How on earth did this evolve? Talk to you tomorrow.